Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is a part 2 of step 4, and on the first one I talked about just writing down resentments. I believe I gave a way of doing it in the way that I was taught. Again, this is just the beginning of many doors that have opened up for myself. So if you're looking to get sober, and if you're looking to get rid of some addictions, and if it's just your thinking, or you just want to have a shift in your consciousness and want a new life, a new way of looking at things, because there's a little bit of irritability in your life, then this is a great catalyst to begin. And maybe you'll stay, and there's a lot of people who stay in the 12-step program and fellowship and make that their life. Not my story, but I'm so very grateful to the 12 steps because it opened up so many other things for me that I'd like to share with you. So let's just go to step 4 in the beginning of my journey here. So a few months into the program, I started to do the steps. I did get a sponsor, and one that I felt that I can give my information to. Now, step 4 scares a lot of people, and a lot of people that don't do it end up going back out and relapsing, because this is where we get to look at the shadow self, the dark side, which is so beautiful because, dark and light are the same. And actually, from dark, we get the light. So I think a shift in perspective and how we see the darkness. So step 4, it does have a few different columns. The first one is resentments. The second one is cause and description of those resentments. So say I have my mom, cause and description would be what, like say there's 10 things that I'm resenting, 50 things, 2 things, whatever it is. So we write them separately. We don't make a whole story out of it. You write one thing about it, like a bullet point. And then from that, you go to what did it affect? Now, it affects your sex relations, your finances, your self-esteem, your pride, your ambition, and I believe there's 2 more with that, which is your security and your relationships. So that is, what does it affect? So we abbreviate next to the cause and description, and then column 4 is like, how did I react? How did I show up in my life because of this event? This event hurt my self-esteem or in my pride and my finances. Like I couldn't show up because of what my mommy said or did. This is the way I reacted. So maybe, in this reaction, that would be what I knew at the time. So there's no blame here. Just by the way, this is so we can shift perspective. There's no I'm a victim and if she didn't do that, because I believe today that everyone on that list was here to work for me. Today I shift perspective, and I'll get to it later. These things didn't come up for me as I was new in the program. The last thing I could look at is, all the hell in my life was to work for me. But today I can tell you all the hell in my life was to work for me, was so I can awaken and transform into my purpose and what it is I'm here to do, and kind of see myself and others in such a different light. One that we're all connected. So sticking with step 4, don't be afraid of it. If you're really looking at doing shadow work, again, it doesn't have to be in the 12-step program. I'm just saying the way I began, because I began this way not by choice at the time. Again, I began this way because I was given by the courts to go to AA, and because I was in AA, and because circumstances had me, the power greater than myself, right, had stepped into the picture to align me with doing the work so I can stop repeating and hurting myself. So step 4 really shows you where you repeat your patterns, where your fears are, because from column 4, I may see like I have a fear of abandonment, or a fear of rejection, fear of success, fear of failure. There's so many fears, right? Fear of being known, fear of truth, fear of being cheated on, whatever it is, like as I go through, and not everyone will have a fear in it. A lot of them for me did, and they were repetitive, and that's the pattern. I get to see, oh, when this happens, this is how I react, not respond, this is how I react, and there's fear in that. So there's so much that happens. Like I said, step 4 is that closet. And it's like going through your closet, what doesn't fit anymore. This is where I kind of get to see how I've made things fit when, because I was accustomed to it. That was just the way I ran. That is the way my mentality was at the time. Again, no blame. But with step 4, I think that I saw through me being in the program 7 years ago was that, wow, there's a lot of people that leave the rooms of AA because of step 4, because there's shame and there's guilt and there's disappointment with self. And because of that, no one wants to look at that. But it's in that the transformation happens. It's in looking at self, how self behaves, right? From what we knew, again, no blame, no shame. This is taking that and really giving that a new pair of eyes. And that's why they say, get a sponsor, to where after you're done doing the work. Now step 4 is doing the work. You're given, some give different, like some will give you worksheets, and I did not get the worksheet. I got one page that said, how I was to do step 4, start with resentments, and then column 1, cause and description, column 2, what did it affect? Like I said, pride, finances, sex relations, relationships, ambition, and so forth. And then the column 4 is my reaction, my response, how did I act? And then later, after I go through all that, through all the resentments I've written down one by one, with as many as it is, sometimes, like say an uncle, I had 2 things I wrote down, so it was quick. And this isn't about doing it really quick, but it's not really sitting on it either, because sitting on it, there's a fear in that, right? Like, what is it that I'm going to see? What is it that I'm going to find out? For me, is making a commitment, and making a commitment for yourself, because you want to see why events in your life have happened. And let me tell you, sometimes, not all the time, is it, an example. Okay, so when I was really little, or children that have childhood trauma, it's not their fault. And again, this isn't about fault or blame, but sometimes you're just at, and it's not even being at the wrong place at the wrong time, because even later, the event that happened to me at childhood, now today I get to see it from such a higher perspective, where for that person that it was involved when I was 7 years old, I can now bring empathy, love, because I see why that happened. But for 40 years, I hung on to a resentment because I didn't see it from a different perspective. So all these things have become apparent, and there's some things in there that I didn't want to tell a sponsor. In the beginning, I'm not a person who trusts people, and especially women. So it was really difficult for me to come and tell a sponsor, and sometimes in AA too. And I'm not AA loving or AA bashing. I'm just speaking what I saw. And there's times where you may pick a sponsor and tell a sponsor, and that sponsor divulges your information to other people. Now it's supposed to be between you and that sponsor. So there's an element of trust, because so many alcoholics or addicts that come in, there's a trust issue. So if that trust is broken, that person's going to go back out. So it's really important to make that connection first, and to really know that this person really has an ears that's going to listen to you and mouth that's going to stay closed, because that is where the trust is. And it doesn't even have to be a sponsor. It says made a searching fearless moral inventory of myself. Does not mean that it's in a step program. Does not mean that because I've gone to hypnosis. I've given my shit, my stuff, my fear, my pain, my anger, my shame, my guilt to a higher power greater than myself, which I call God, universe, source, infinite intelligence, and so forth. And there's a lot of times where I've sat down and just send me help. And asking for help was really hard for me. I'm a I'll do it myself kind of person. And I was that for a very long time. So even saying help me, looking up or looking at somebody and saying I need help was incredibly difficult. So I get it if you're struggling with cleaning out your closet. But I tell you what, the steps or the things in life that come after that are so freeing. So step 4 is very messy. It's the clutter, right? It's the garage in homes. It's the hoarders. It's hey, sorry, nothing against hoarders, but it's time to clean house. So it's that space where we just want to clean it up. I want to clean it up because I want to make space for new things to enter. But in order for new things to enter, I have to go through things. Do I want this? Do I? Yeah, I don't want this anymore. It doesn't fit. Or oh my God, this is so old. And wow, I can't believe that I still have that. So it's kind of the same thing. I can't believe I still think that, or I can't believe I've held on to that shame or to that guilt or to that blame, and so forth. So it really is so freeing. It's liberating. And that's where the step 5 comes in. I'll make a video after this one on the 5. But this is about, it doesn't matter, clergy, like it says in the big book, you're a therapist, whoever it is that you have a connection with, spiritual community, somebody that you just need to share some things with. And sometimes they say, there's an invisible 1, 2, 3 things you wouldn't tell that you're going to take to your grave. To tell that to the sponsor. Again, maybe those things you don't want to tell sponsor. Maybe those are things that you want to go tell somebody else, or a therapist, or anything else that's different. The point is not to hang on to it. The point is to shift consciousness. The point is to see different. And let me tell you, I did not see any of this in my first 2 years, because for me the first year was very cloudy, and it was very difficult and challenging for me. But by such a loving universe, I started to just give myself the chance to start to have that shift, because I know that me prior to my arrest was dying. I was dying from alcoholism. I was dying from sadness, from blame, shame, victim, guilt. And that is not a way to live. But it was my way, and it was the only way I knew until I learned different. So that's what this is about. This is really about shifting, I don't know where I just put my glasses, about shifting my perspective and just kind of seeing, where am I in my life? What is it that I want to change in my life? And how to go about it. So get in the closet, write it out, look at it, and then I'll get into the step 5. And I have put my glasses somewhere else, and I may have to leave to go get it. But I thought, let's pull a card, and you know what? Excuse me for a quick minute. And I'm back. Thank you. And hey, take that time right now as I'm shuffling, subscribe, push like, and leave a comment. I would love to interact with you, because oh my God, I was really scared when I came in, and there's so much to learn, and I'm learning all the time. And again, I may go to now to a speaker meeting, and I'm not saying there's people that dedicate themselves to like every day, and they'll go 2-3 times a day, and if that's something that one needs, then do it. In the beginning, I was doing oh my God, 2 to 3 meetings a day. I was going to 14 meetings. I had 4 commitments, and by the first year of my recovery into the second year, I had 7 sponsees, 4 commitments, single mother, working, and during that period, my son got a resentment against me and my sponsees because I was spending so much time with them. And these are all the things I'm going to talk to you about, because it's finding that balance. And today I'm starting to find balance, and it just happens to be the Libra new moon, which is all about balance. So again, I'm going to pull a card. Let's see what's going on here. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you know somebody who needs help with addictions, there's so much information on YouTube. And maybe, I love this. Okay, so Let me see what else comes out. I got the Ten of Wands. If you're not familiar with tarot, the Ten of Wands is carrying a lot of burdens. And oh my, it's just in the Six of Pentacles. So here I have, and I'll pull one of these too. So the Ten of Wands, you see, he's just sitting down so tired, right? And he's been carrying a lot of burdens, and how perfect this is. So, you know, one has been carrying so many burdens of my family and friends and thoughts and things and, God, life. But they're not my burdens. The 9 wands are other burdens. The 1 wand is just his path. He's to carry that 1 wand, not all the other wands. So the 10 is the end, which is perfect for step 4. It could be even a perfect, unless the death card came, and that's a step 5. So this is about, you know what, God, I've been carrying this shit for so long, and it's just time to drop it, do the work, pen to paper. And I hope that's not sounding preachy or anything, but that's the only way, you know. It's like it's a release, it's a purge. And so purge those wands, you know, drop them, just drop them, because that is what's brought, it's out of balance, right? 6 of Pentacles in reverse is talking about carrying the burdens has brought so much imbalance in my life, in your life. Is there imbalance in your life? Are you carrying things that don't belong to you, that somehow you've made a contract that these things belong to you, that you have to take care of them, that you have to believe in them, that you have to carry them? Don't you want to drop them, bring balance back in your life, so you can only carry your beliefs, what belongs to you? And that is how I take these 2 cards. And just to go with a chakra card, and I'm probably going way over the time that I wanted to video, but again, subscribe, tell another, and guilt, self-worth. These are the 2 I will take, and prayer. You know, this is beautiful. So we have the card. So orange is our sacral chakra, and then we have the yellow color, right here, prayer. Yellow is a solar. So this is feminine and masculine energies, again, bringing them into harmony and into balance. So this is the prayer, bringing it over. This is, you know, my will don't work anymore. The way I see shit is just not working out. I want to see differently. Universe, source, energy, dolphins, mountains, somebody, anybody, help me. And that's that. Just help me. I don't get it. I'm hurting. I have no self-worth. Like, I don't even want to live. I don't want to wake up. I don't want to get out of bed. You know, if those people didn't do those things to me, then I wouldn't feel so shitty about myself. Blame, right? The guilt. I can't believe the things I've done. I can't take it back. I feel so ashamed, right? I shouldn't have said that. If only I had done better, then I would still have my house. I would still have my marriage. I would still have my dignity. If only I didn't sell myself because I had no self-worth. You know, whatever the story is, right? So this is so perfect, because this is what we're working through step 4, right? We're going to drop. This is about you dropping your burdens, right? This is about looking at how imbalance it brought your life to be, right? This is about bringing your life back into balance, into harmony. And this is about really getting in touch with what are you hanging on to? It's okay. It's okay. You know what? 7.5 billion people on this planet, everyone has gone through this. I don't think anybody hasn't. I don't even know. maybe Buddha, I don't know. But I'm saying, I think Buddha even went out to sea. That's why he wrote about nothingness and many things, because he had to experience it. Otherwise, in his world, everything was perfect, right? It was just meditation and bliss, till he saw that it's not. The world is so full of shame, guilt, disappointment, poverty, lack, mind fuck, right? So even Buddha had to step out to go get the experience. That's what we're doing. We're experiencing life. And yeah, these things are a part of life, but they are not you. It doesn't have to be your life for the rest of your life. You're to integrate light from the dark, and I bet you will see things so differently, and your life will transform. You just have to love yourself, believe that you're worthy of a new life, and step into your power, step into loving yourself, because at the end, love is all we got. Thank you for listening. Namaste.